The US and Iran stepping up the pace and scope of attacks, putting under even greater pressure a memorandum of understanding for interim peace. Tehran saying it will not keep its end of the bargain if Washington fails to honor its side of this agreement. In the most intense attacks in the region since a ceasefire was brokered in June, seeing Iranian strikes on American military facilities in Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE, Oman and Jordan, after US attacks on Iranian missile, air defense and naval assets, which followed another Iranian hit in the Strait of Hormuz. Washington saying it's only acting to protect commercial shipping through the waterway in Hormuz. Iran has declared that waterway shut, insisting it retains authority over access, while the US has rejected that claim, saying freedom of navigation remains intact and Tehran does not control the Strait of Hormuz. And Jagruti Dave is covering developments for CNA live from Washington, D.C. Jagruti, what is America hoping to achieve with these latest strikes?
Well, right now it seems that the US is flexing its military muscle to, as CENTCOM puts it, degrade Iran's ability to continue attacking international shipping flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. It's also the first time that the US has used a one-way attack sea drone. This is an unmanned vessel, surface vessel, which is essentially used for one-off strikes. It's loaded with bombs, and they're often kind of called kamikaze strikes or kamikaze drones in an attempt to really try to degrade, as CENTCOM is saying, Iran's ability to stop vessels from transiting through the Strait of Hormuz. But it's unclear how really effective any of this is, given that it seems that traffic through the strait has all but halted. And of course, you've got these contradictory messages coming from Iran and the United States. The US says the Strait of Hormuz is open. Iran is saying it's closed. And so the question is, can the United States unilaterally restart shipping through the strait? It appears that it might not be able to do so. And what it is trying to do is to degrade Iran's capability to stop ships from passing through the strait right now. But the situation right now, it looks to be in a bit of a stalemate.
A stalemate as well in diplomatic efforts, flexing the muscle ostensibly to improve positions at the negotiating table.
Very much so. It seems to be a calculation of the United States that its willingness to strike and its willingness to escalate, they hope that will deter Iran, but also bring it back to the negotiating table and put pressure on Iran to acquiesce to US demands. It's again not clear how successful that is as a strategy, but you've got officials who have gone to Oman, an Iranian delegation that's traveled to Oman over the weekend to continue peace talks via negotiations via mediators. But that is happening in parallel to these strikes, with the president saying the ceasefire is over and the Iranians saying that the latest US strikes have rendered futile all the diplomatic efforts that have happened in the last few months. So right now, as I say, it seems to be a stalemate, but mediators are hoping that there is enough self-interest on both sides to recognize that returning to the negotiating table is in their best domestic interests, as well as the interests of the global community.
Thanks. Jagruti Dave reporting live for CNA from Washington, D.C.